The park pavilion had been dressed up for the occasion, with colorful streamers hanging from the beams and a big banner stretched across the front that read Anderson Family Reunion 2025. By the time I arrived, 73 relatives had already shown up for our yearly summer get-together. Long folding tables were loaded down with potluck food. Kids sprinted barefoot through the grass, and adults stood around in loose circles, talking over one another. My mom had been planning this reunion for 8 solid months, and it showed. I parked myself at a picnic table near the drink station, slowly working on a glass of Sauvignon Blanc. A few feet away, my sister Lauren was holding court, showing her phone to a group of aunts and cousins as she scrolled through pictures from her Cancun vacation. "This was our beachfront suite," she said, practically glowing. "All-inclusive resort, 5-star dining. Mom and Dad paid for the whole thing as an early 30th birthday gift. 2 weeks of pure luxury." My mother smiled like she'd just won an award. "Only the best for our baby girl." I took another sip of wine and let that phrase land. Baby girl. Lauren was 30 years old and she was still the baby. That's when Uncle Mark, my dad's younger brother, sat down across from me on the bench. He lived in Austin, ran a successful architecture firm, and was one of the few people in my family who remembered to text me every year on my birthday. "Emily," he said with an easy grin. "Good to see you. You're looking great." "Thanks, Uncle Mark," I said. "How's Texas treating you?" "Hot as hell," he replied, reaching for a cookie. "But business is booming." He paused, then nodded toward me. "So, how's life in that beautiful house you bought? Must feel pretty incredible owning a $1.3 million place at 32. The noise around us didn't stop right away. Took about 5 seconds. Lauren's voice died in the middle of a sentence. Her phone slowly lowered, her thumb frozen above the screen. My mother's smile stiffened, like it had been glued in place. My dad, who had been scooping potato salad onto his plate, straightened up with the serving spoon still in his hand. Uncle Mark didn't notice any of it. He kept going, clearly impressed. "That Craftsman in Laurelhurst, what a find. Historic neighborhood, tree-lined street, walking distance to everything. And you got in before the market went completely insane. Closing in April was smart timing." My mom finally spoke, her voice tight. "Mark, what house?" Uncle Mark blinked and looked between us, confusion spreading across his face. "The house Emily bought. The 1920s Craftsman on Elm Street. I closed on April 22nd, I said evenly. Purchase price was $1.3 million. I put $390,000 down and financed the rest at 6.7%. My dad's serving spoon clattered onto the table. You own a house for over $1 million? Yes, I said. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Original hardwood floors, built-in bookshelves, and a restored fireplace. 3,200 square feet on about 1/3 of an acre. The inspection came back clean, foundation was solid, so I moved forward. Lauren was staring at me like I'd just spoken another language. Where did you get $390,000? I saved it, I said. I've been a data science director for 8 years, Lauren. Before that, I spent 6 years moving up from analyst to senior analyst to team lead. Tech companies pay well when you have specialized skills. My current base salary is $215,000, plus bonuses that usually average around $65,000 a year. By then, the pavilion had grown noticeably quiet. Conversations at nearby tables slowed and then stopped as people picked up on the tension. My mom gripped her paper plate. You make almost $300,000 a year? Last year it was $287,000 with bonuses, I said. This year is tracking about the same. I set my wine glass down. I've been updating you on my career for years. You just haven't been paying attention. Uncle Mark's expression shifted as realization hit him. Wait, you didn't know Emily bought a house? No, my dad said weakly. We didn't. Or her job title, Uncle Mark added. Or her salary. That's when Aunt Diane, my mom's sister, walked up to the table. Emily bought a house? She asked. $1 million house? In April, I confirmed. 7 months ago. Lauren put her phone down, Cancun forgotten. How did we not know about this? Because you never asked, I said simply. In 7 months, not one of you asked where I was living. No one noticed I stopped talking about my apartment. No one bothered to check in on my life. My mom's eyes filled with tears. That's not fair, Emily. We've just been busy. Busy with what? I cut in. Busy planning Lauren's vacation. Busy celebrating her promotion to junior marketing manager. Busy redecorating her apartment with furniture you paid for. I looked directly at my sister. How much did Mom and Dad spend on your Cancun trip? Her cheeks flushed. $12,000. $12,000, I repeated, letting it hang in the air. When I bought my house, the biggest purchase of my life, I got a thumbs up emoji in the family group chat, I said. That was it. No congratulations. No questions. No offers to visit. Just a thumbs up. My dad finally spoke. You told us in a text message. I texted because you didn't answer when I called, I said. I left 3 voicemails. You never called me back. I pulled out my phone and scrolled. Here, April 22nd. I held up the screen. 3 outgoing calls to my parents, all under 10 seconds, straight to voicemail. Below that was the text. Closed on my house today. So excited to finally be a homeowner. 1920s craftsman in Laurelhurst. Can't wait to show you both. The response 5 hours later. Thumbs up. My mom stared at the screen like it didn't make sense. We were helping Lauren pack for her trip. For a trip that wasn't happening for another 2 weeks, I said quietly. You had 14 days to follow up. You never did. Uncle Mark set his cookie down, suddenly uninterested. Emily, can I see pictures of the house? Of course. I opened my photo album and handed him my phone. He scrolled through the images, the blue-gray craftsman with white trim, the wraparound porch with hanging baskets, the living room with exposed beams and the restored brick fireplace, the kitchen with subway tile and butcher block counters, the backyard garden where I'd planted roses and herbs. This is stunning, he said softly. The restoration work alone must have cost a fortune. I put another $80,000 into it after closing, I said. New roof, updated electrical, refinished floors, renovated bathrooms. The structure was solid, but it needed care. I smiled to myself. It's my dream house. I wake up every morning grateful I found it. Uncle Mark handed the phone to Aunt Diane, who gasped. Emily, this is absolutely beautiful. The craftsmanship did it. My phone started circulating to the nearby tables, passed from hand to hand. Cousins leaned in to get a better look. Second cousins I barely recognized murmured their appreciation under their breath. Grandma Ruth, the undisputed matriarch of our family, studied every photo slowly and deliberately, like she was examining museum pieces. When the phone finally reached my parents, my mother's hands were shaking. She scrolled through the images as tears streamed down her face. This is your house, she whispered. It's incredible. Her voice cracked. Why didn't you make us listen? Why didn't you force us to pay attention? Because I shouldn't have to force my parents to care about my life, I said calmly. I shouldn't have to beg for basic interest in my achievements. I tried for years, Mom. Every promotion, every milestone, every piece of good news, I shared it with you. And every single time, the conversation turned to Lauren within 5 minutes. Lauren had gone pale. I didn't know. I know you didn't, I said. They made sure you didn't. They protected you from ever having to wonder if you were getting too much attention, because I was getting so little there was nothing to compare it to. My father placed the phone down carefully like it might break. Emily, that's not, we didn't mean to. Not meaning to and not noticing aren't the same thing, I said, meeting his eyes. One is an accident. The other is a choice. Grandma Ruth spoke up from her chair. How long has this been happening, Emily? Since Lauren was born, I said. I was 4 years old enough to remember being the only grandchild, and old enough to feel it when the new baby became the center of everyone's universe and I faded into the background. My mother started sobbing. That's not true. Mom, you missed my college graduation because Lauren had a dance recital, I said. You forgot my 30th birthday last year, but threw her a surprise party 3 months later. You visited Lauren's apartment 17 times in the past year. You've never once asked for my address. The number hung there between us. 17 visits versus 0. Uncle Mark slowly shook his head. Linda, Robert. I've watched this happen at family events for years. Emily starts talking about work, and you interrupt her to ask Lauren about her day. Every time. Aunt Diane nodded. We all noticed. We just didn't know how to bring it up without causing a blow-up. So you let it continue, I said, not angrily, just stating the truth. Everyone saw it happening and said nothing. Cousin Megan spoke from the next table. I'm sorry, Emily. You're right. We should have said something. Other voices joined in. Apologies from aunts, uncles, and cousins who had watched me slowly disappear over the years. My mother looked around at all of them, at the faces that had witnessed everything. We're terrible parents. To me, yes, I said. You have been. To Lauren, you've been attentive, supportive, involved. Everything I needed and never got. That's the hard truth. You had the capacity to be good parents. You just chose not to be for me. Lauren wiped at her eyes. I'm so sorry, Emily. I've been a terrible sister. You've been a pampered sister, I corrected gently. There's a difference. You're not responsible for mom and dad's choices, but you're old enough now to see the imbalance and decide what kind of sister you want to be going forward. She nodded, still crying. My father's voice came out rough. What do you want from us, Emily? How do we fix this? I don't know if you can, I said honestly. This isn't about one missed call or one forgotten text. It's about 32 years of being the invisible daughter. Every achievement minimized. Every need brushed aside. Every milestone overshadowed by whatever Lauren was doing that week. Uncle Mark leaned forward. For what it's worth, that house purchase was a smart move. A historic craftsman in Laurelhurst. That property is going to appreciate significantly. You're building real equity. Thank you, I said, smiling at him. That was my thinking too. And thank you for remembering enough about my life to ask. Of course, he said. You're my niece. I'm proud of you. He looked pointedly at my parents. That's something she should hear more often. My mother reached across the table toward me. I am proud of you, Emily. So incredibly proud. I pulled my hand back. Are you? Or are you saying that because 73 family members just watched you realize you've neglected me for 3 decades? She flinched. That's not fair. Fair would have been asking about my house hunt when I mentioned it last year, I said. Fair would have been celebrating my promotion to director the way you celebrated Lauren becoming a junior manager. Fair would have been treating both your daughters like they mattered equally. Lauren stood up abruptly. I need some air. She walked off quickly, her shoulders shaking. My father watched her go, then turned back to me. She's upset. She should be, I said. She's realizing her entire worldview was built on favoritism she never questioned. That's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Grandma Ruth cleared her throat. Emily, I want to see this house of yours. When can I visit? Anytime, Grandma, I said. I'll text you some dates. Good, she said. I want to see what my granddaughter built while her parents weren't paying attention. She shot my parents a sharp look. I told you 10 years ago this was happening. You didn't listen. My mother's makeup was completely ruined now. I know, Mom. You were right. Uncle Mark stood up. I'm going to head out soon, but before I do, are you happy? In your house, in your life? I pictured my craftsman in the morning light pouring through the original windows. My garden where I drank coffee every Sunday. My home office where I worked remotely 3 days a week. A life that was whole and entirely my own. Yes, I said. I really am. Good, he said, pulling me into a hug. That's what matters. Keep being amazing, and send me more photos of that house. I love a good restoration project. I will. After he left, the reunion slowly came back to life. Kids returned to the grass. Adults went back to their plates. But my parents stayed frozen at the table, the weight of 32 years of neglect settling heavily on their shoulders. Finally, my father spoke. Can we see it? The house. Can we come visit? I don't know, I said. Can you stay interested in my life for more than one guilt-driven visit? Can you remember where I live 6 months from now? Can you stop treating every little thing Lauren does like it's breaking news? I asked. While my biggest life events get treated like footnotes? I want to try, my dad said. We both do. Trying isn't enough, Dad, I replied. Either you change or you don't. But I'm not going to hold your hand through learning how to care about me. I'm not going to make this easy or comfortable. I spent 32 years shrinking myself, staying quiet, making it easy for you to overlook me. That stops now." My mother covered her face with her hands. "We've lost you." "No," I said softly. "You just finally realized I've been gone for a long time." I stood up and grabbed my purse. "I'm going home. To my house. The one you didn't even know existed." "Emily, please," my father started. "I need time," I said. "Time to see if I actually believe you can change. Time to decide whether I want to let you into the life I built without you. And time to heal from 32 years of being invisible." I walked through the park toward my car. Behind me, I heard my mom crying, my dad trying to comfort her, and relatives murmuring quietly. I drove back to my Craftsman on Elm Street. I pulled into my driveway and sat there for a moment, looking at my blue-gray house with white trim, my rose-filled garden, and the porch where I spent most evenings reading. My phone buzzed. "Lauren, can I visit? I want to see your house. I want to know you. Really know you." I typed back, "Maybe. I need time to think about it." Another message came through. "Uncle Mark, you handled that with incredible grace. I'm proud of you, kiddo." I smiled and texted back, "Thanks for caring enough to ask." Inside, I poured myself another glass of wine and stood in my living room beneath the exposed beams, the brick fireplace glowing in the fading light. This was my space, my work, my achievement. My phone rang. "Mom." I watched it ring 3 times and let it go to voicemail. It rang again. "Dad." Voicemail. I carried my glass outside and sat on the porch as the sun went down, listening to the neighborhood settle into evening. Dogs barking, parents calling kids in for dinner. Life unfolding all around me. I'd built a good life here, one my parents knew almost nothing about. The real question now wasn't whether they wanted back in. It was whether I wanted to let them. And no matter what they chose to do, I knew I'd be okay. I had a $1.3 million house that was mine. I had a career built through my own effort and persistence. I had a life that didn't depend on anyone else's approval. I was enough. I always had been. They just hadn't been there to see it.